Welcome back, guys, to CSL. We're getting ready for some Collegiate League of Legends between Mount Royal, who took a very nice Game 1 over Victoria. We're going to see if we can see a comeback coming in from Victoria, force us to a Game 3, or if Mount Royal are going to continue their undefeated streak, go to 6-0 for this tournament. But I'm so ready for this return. How about you? What are you thinking that we're going to see? Are we going to see the Swain today?
I don't think we're going to see the Swain today. To be completely honest, really just want to take as much as you can away from Mount Royal at the moment. And if you give them that Swain, that's just kind of another thing that they're very comfortable playing with, and they need to find something. I will really curious to see how Victoria adapt. I don't think they're going to be playing the same pick-style composition as they did before, but rather they might really focus on that extremely strong bottom side of the map that they had in game number 1. That's where they got their advantages from, but they never really were able to carry it through. So maybe they adapt a little bit in earlier game pick, they're going to be ready to carry that one right on through.
Honestly, I don't know if I want to see the pick comp coming in from Victoria again either. Well, I understood what they wanted to go for. They never actually able to have it. It was really great vision from Mount Royal to mitigate that. They had rotations consistently coming around. We saw the one gank from, 3 members going topside to get the pick onto Italian one. So it's really going to be much more about if you can combat Mount Royal in that team fight prowess that they've shown that they can really implement.
Yeah, in Victoria in the very early game, one of the first comments I made that match was about, oh my god, they look amazing. Their bot lane went toward the jungle. I was going nuts about how happy I was with that. But the thing was, getting the vision is only the first step. You need to coordinate the play with the vision. And it felt like they kind of put the vision out without really having a plan in mind. And by the time they were ready to really move around the map, maybe drag the mid laner somewhere, make a play through the Malzahar, they just didn't have the vision anymore. And that early game vision isn't going to stick around very long, but that's why you have to coordinate, okay, Clanky, help us grab vision, we'll make a play bot lane in a minute and get right on through. But without any of that, it kind of just fell flat and nothing really came from the pick comp.
Yeah, I completely agree. You just gotta always make sure that you're on the prowl to get those early picks, to get the snowball going. Malzahar can be so destructive once he's ahead of his opponent, especially in Orianna. If Orianna falls behind, sure, she has a lot of utility that she can provide, especially if she lands a good shockwave, but she feels a little bit lackluster. You want to get towards those spike with items. You want to have a little bit more DPS that you can provide for the teams. So you want to try to see if you can always be one step ahead when you're on Malzahar.
Yeah, most certainly. And in the team fight series, you've been doing a little bit, but even so, when you pick that composition, you need to find some sort of advantage through it, and they just got to the late game. They got towards those late game team fights where it was just front to back and really lost out. And then the biggest part for me was also in the late game. Victoria got outplayed the man on the Ornn to go flank every single time, and it just felt like every single time it was just either mistimed with Mount Royal actually getting the engage first before Outplay did anything, or it just didn't do anything. Like, sure, you're going to knock someone up, but in the end, they don't care about you. They care about killing the entirety of your team first. And once that's out, you're not really going to do too much Ornn 1v5. He's strong. He's not that strong.
So now, this is where I have to ask you, do we see Outplay go for a tank again? Or do we see him try to go for a carry that we know that he likes to play?
I think we can see him go onto a tank this time. I think that's the adaptation that Victoria can make because they have a lot of priority on their bottom half of the map. Leave somebody in that top lane who you could go a little bit aggressive if you wanted to maybe draw pressure away, but give him somebody who has TP who's going to be able to assist through those bottom lane plays. Because what I want to see from Victoria is throw one of those plays down to bot lane, get a shoving mid lane, get a good ganking jungler, give a good scaling bot lane, and Hamster, he looked like a monster on the thresh for a good part of that early game. Enable that, throw 5-minute bot lane. If they have 5 stopwatches, bring 5 stopwatches as well and just out stopwatch the stopwatches.
Oh no, I don't want to see that. No. I don't want
10
to see
stopwatches, let's go.
See a dive bot lane and you just see everyone standing still. Everyone's golden for a good like 3 seconds.
Put a Kled in the top lane, put a Elise in the jungle, put a Tom Catch on the bot lane. It's physically impossible to die during a tower dive.
You're killing me over here. You're killing me.
Throw a zillion in the mid lane. Who cares about towers anymore? No, it's an open map.
This sounds absolutely horrible right there, and don't give them ideas.
Wait,
please. Don't give them ideas, please.
I want to see it. Victoria, you would be my favorite team of all time if we saw that 5 stopwatches, 5-man dives comp. I would love it. I would be going nuts.
Okay, apparently we do have a little bit of a delay coming in from MRU. They just need a couple minutes, so it gives us a little bit more time to theorize. Hopefully, nothing like that returned. No, we're gonna stay away from that kind of composition.
What do I have to live for anymore?
Exactly.
If I cannot watch 10 people hit stopwatch during the same play, what's the point?
League of Legends is the point.
Oh God, no.
Okay, so
Also, for viewers, we seem to have bumped Mad Magical up, so maybe we'll be able to hear him just a little bit better. So
hopefully.
that is the plan.
We messed with my mic a bit. Hopefully, you didn't break anything. Hey, wait, that was a fast
We got a
one.
game.
Man, Julian must have come in after all, because we really sped through time there as we get into the pick and bans. Game 2 from Victoria and Mount Royal about to come down. Really curious to see what we're going to see as the first ban coming in from MRU. It's going to still be like Camille.
Yeah, you can tell how much priority they're putting onto outplayed here on the top side of the map. Because, especially with the, most likely the same Vlad and the same Swain bans, they want to make sure that there's not going to be a carry on that opposing side. So, see if they're actually going to be able to play through that, and maybe if they had a bit more priority in the top lane, that's what really breaks apart this match. And maybe also Outplayed's got that sleeper pick in the pocket. Maybe not quite the Swain that Hotel has been pulling out, but something to get this match going.
As we see these top lane bans continuing to come down, Tarek actually going to be bumped up a little bit sooner. We did see that before. It was banned way towards Hamster, but now making a much earlier surge into the draft.
I mean, if you're going to be looking forward to another teamfight versus teamfight composition, the team that is invulnerable will usually win that trade. So get that tool out of the way. Don't want so much utility coming across, and another ban, and that will be the swing we predicted.
Yeah, that's not too surprising. Kind of sad. I would have loved to have seen SmackDown Hotai pick up that swing. I want to see how he plays it, especially before the rework comes down. I believe that's not next patch, but the patch after that, 8.4, that we're going to see the Swain rework coming in. Well then.
Yeah.
But apparently someone's not happy about the Swain rework coming in.
Yeah,
But
someone.
we get Gangplank.
That is true. Yep. And GP ban, once again, banning out really anything with the priority on the top side. And GP isn't someone who has priority on the top side, but it's one of these picks that can really swing around a fight in the late game. Because if you replace that Ornn with the Gangplank and almost put them in the same situation, all of a sudden Victoria has a vehicle for actually carrying through these fights, getting a bit more damage out there, while also putting a bit more onto the APDC position. And I have to say, I don't think we're going to see the Akali locked in, just putting that one out there.
Yeah, I wonder if the Amumu is any more likely to come in. But with Orianna banned, I'm not too surprised to see this Azir hover. He's probably going to be locked in for Damasta, as he's such a strong mid laner at the moment. But there are a few counters that we could see. The Xerath is open, the Vygar has been cropping up here and there, especially in LCK. So there are a lot of opportunities for Sky to go for.
Yeah, they're going to be really playing around this one. The Nunu is still available as well, so if they want to go for the Exodia-esque composition and just try to put together all the pieces of scaling, they can still play through that. They can still work for that. Big thing, though, the Tristana locked in over on the other side means that Kog'Maw will still be available. Tristana into the hands of Italian One will mean a little bit more early game aggression.
You gotta, honestly, if you're me right now, looking over at Victoria, you have to lock in the Nunu. Even though we didn't see it touched at all last game, with how strong it is with Azir, and the possibility that Kog'Maw can be locked in for Foster, it's a little bit too strong that I don't understand taking the Sejuani over that right now.
Yeah, most certainly. It's going to be just a little bit still up on the board. Sejuani locked in means J4 will still be available for the other side, but if they want to try that new composition, they've got the ability to. They've still got a game to play with, which means if they drop this next one, not going to be the worst thing in the world, but definitely with the Azir in the mid lane, it's going to be giving you a little bit of priority, but now throw on the Zac, and that mid lane turns into a terrifying place.
Zac is an amazing ganker, so he gets really scary as the game progresses. I still would have preferred the Nunu, the synergy with Azir and Kog'Maw that you could have just drafted, and making sure that you have this late game powerhouse force would have been just a little more than the Zac, but still, I understand what they want to go for.
Yeah, most certainly. That still does open up the competition a lot. Now, there's the Ezreal pick, and that's going to be extremely safe as well in lane. I mean, Frosters did have the best time in the world trying to make it through that early laning phase. Got a little bit behind. But on the Ezreal, who is a little bit nerfed out in the early game based on his Q damage, is still going to be able to survive through that lane. Going to have the Kleptomancy most likely, and just wants to farm up to this late game threat.
Yeah, the Q being nerfed, Kleptomancy being nerfed. Ezreal has definitely fallen to the wayside as of late, but still not necessarily a terrible pick. But LeBlanc coming in for Ski. This is something we see occasionally coming in as a counter towards Azir, but we don't see it too often anymore, and I'm really happy to see this adaptation coming in from Victoria.
Yeah, that's something that I know is going to be hit on over in 8.4. I know that writers were talking a lot about it, which should be coming up on these patches, but that's still going to play into the idea of breaking up this team fight. You can almost already see, too, that the side of Victoria, they don't want to get locked in straight to these 5-on-5 competitions. They want to enable the split push with LeBlanc. And if that gets ahead, if that gets pushing in this early game against something like the Azir, it's going to be able to go and influence the bottom lane. It's going to help Italian One really pop off. And top lane is still available as well. So, Outplayed, you might be looking for something big as well.
Almost wonder if we're going to see the continuation of the 6 top lane bans into this game. Going over for the side. Yes, the Fiora going to be there. So that's going to be our 5th top lane ban for this game.
Yeah, that's going to be... There's just so much priority put in this top lane. They don't want any decent champions making it through. They don't want any pressure going back and forth. And that can also show that both teams are a little bit inflexible. They really like to play maybe not a bot lane, but a bot to mid side of the map centric style. And at this point, if you don't have to change, don't bother it. You just keep, if it's not broken, don't worry about it.
So that's going to be Braum, going to be the last man coming in from Victoria, as they already took away Tom Kent, taking away some of these great tools to peel for your AD carries or even for your mid lanes. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for Damasta and for Froster. As Thresh is going to be the last ban. Hamster not going to have his hands on that. He did a fantastic job on that last game. I really want to see what their adaptation is going to be this time around. Alistar hasn't been touched by either team and is considered such a priority support lately, especially when you don't have Tom Kent or Braum. Ooh, Janna. Going to be for Hamster this time around. It's going to be a change of pace. Really strange, though. I'm not necessarily sold on it, though it is a great counter towards Zac. And I'm way too punny. He's going to have to be careful when he tries to go for these engages whenever you have Monsoon or the Tornado procced from Hamster.
I mean, the Thresh ban itself is a lot of showing of respect down to Hamster, because if he had a little bit more priority anywhere else on the map, that all of a sudden turns into such a devastating pick. If he can do the same thing he did in game number 1, that's not only a 1 bot lane, but a 1 mid and potentially even a 1 jungle, combining that with the pressure you get from a LeBlanc and the Sejuani. But the Janna, definitely a very different change of pace. More on the back foot, and yeah, if he's going to be able to play make against the Zac, they can just deny away much of the engage from Mount Royal, and all of a sudden these engages might be just a bit harder to come by.
It's Karma and Orner now going to be the final lock-ins over for Mount Royal. As the Karma is something that I actually really love paired up with the Ezreal. The amount of poke that they provide into a lane that's going to be a little bit weaker early on. Janna and Tristan are going to have a bit of a difficult time into that. So they're going to have to be really careful if they're trying to step out a little bit further, because we know that Victoria like to take control of these lanes. As Riven is going to be the pickup for I Got Outplayed. This is something considered pretty strong into Ornn. At the same time, you have to get ahead on this Riven, otherwise you are going to be completely useless.
Yeah, this game is... Really, there are 2 champions in this game you need to worry about right now. It is Riven and it is LeBlanc. Because if either of these champions pop off, things become absolute hell for Mount Royal. But if they're able to keep these 2 under wraps, make sure Outplayed's not going to pop off, and make sure Ski doesn't really get too far ahead, these team fights become insanely easy for Mount Royal. So this early game is going to be all about the mid and the top pressure. And bot lane, honestly, when you got Ezreal and Karma together, you don't have to care about them too much. They usually take care of themselves.
Though I will say, the one thing that stands out for both compositions for me is we look over to Victoria. They only really have the one frontliner in the Sejuani. While Riven is very scary and can do a lot of damage, she can be bursted down pretty quickly if she gets locked down. Zac, Ornn can provide a lot of that. Even the Emperor's Divide coming in from Damascus can make it very difficult for I Got Outplayed to stick onto the backline. While over on the flip side, Mount Royal, they have Zac and Ornn, very strong frontline tanks that you have to be careful about.
Yeah, and I mean, you could almost wonder if Victoria thought they were playing with these champions last time around, because Outplayed on Riven, 10 times better if you want to get a flank play. That is the time to go run around to the other side, because you can actually do something now. Pop that ultimate down. You can single-handedly take care of Damasta and Frostwhirls without the rest of the team. 1v5, we're ready for it.
The only problem, though, is you have to get ahead.
That's
Riven
true.
is such a snowball champion that if she gets early killed, if she's a little bit too greedy, and we see I'm way too punny go for an early gank onto this Ornn, try to get him ahead, make it so that I got outplayed, never can outplay Ornn, not going to be a fun time for Riven.
All right, 10 stopwatches. Come on, guys. I'm feeling it this game. Every single lane has some sort of dive potential or counter dive potential. I could honestly see 10 stopwatches coming through. I would absolutely love to see that one on the map. And Riven, going to be taking the Ignite. Curious to see if he picks up the spell book as well, just because to see if he's going to have a TP at some point in the game, or just like the Ornn, most likely, are they just starting with the Ignite so they can swap it out later, maybe just for a little bit of this early game priority.
Yeah, because we also look over to SmackDown Hotai. He has the Ignite as well, so most likely going to go for that Unsealed Spellbook, try to make it so that he can keep up with I Got Outplayed, but also could be an indication of where Way Too Punny is going to go for his first gank. Make sure that there isn't going to be that island top lane like it was in Game 1.
Oh yeah, throw a Riven up there, all of a sudden you turn an island into like the Las Vegas Strip. Everyone's going to want to be up there at some point in time. And the idea for Victoria might even be, if we just have enough powerhouses, one of them has to get rolling. Because Riven and LeBlanc are the ones we've been talking about so far. But imagine if Tristana Janna gets rolling too. Pair that with Clanky, all of a sudden you have a great late game teamfight threat. And there aren't any direct counters to it on Mount Royal. They're looking for a very solid front-to-back teamfight that just wants to go up against one. But Victoria, all they need is one person to pop off, and bang. That's Mount Royal's whole idea, whole composition completely torn to shreds. And that also really starts testing how adaptable these members are for Mount Royal. Because if you talk about making it 6-0 in the season, if you talk about making it 5-1, that 5th and that 6th week are going to be incredibly tough. And you have to have the mental resilience and the actual team strategy to make it that far. So, I mean, if they 2-0 right here, if they're able to pull off this game, I'd say Mount Royal, hey, they look like they could go 5-1. They look like they could even, God forbid, go 6-0.
Hey, you never know, especially with the Swain pickup if no one else bans that later into the season. I'd love to see how they play that around. One thing we got to talk about before we get into the game, I want to really focus on Skye being on this LeBlanc. Something that is a little bit more unique that we don't see too often, and how strong he actually provides for the team when it comes to map rotations.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be to be seen as Magical's face has just disappeared. There we go. Got to get the fan favorite right on back. We can't miss our man. We can't miss the Magical. We can't miss the magic.
What happened to my face? I don't know.
You're back. You turned into Discord chat. That's
that's weird.
It's a very serious condition.
Discord just apparently doesn't like the stare. That's what it is.
It's unlucky. Who doesn't love the stare?
Exactly.
A true CSL classic.
See, now we get to see what the keystones are, and it's going to be the double unsealed top lane. So I'm not too surprised to see that, especially when you go for the Ignite onto this Ornn. He's going to try to make sure that he can go really hard into it. But honestly, that's the only unsealed spellbooks that we see are in the top side of the map.
Yeah, and that's definitely going to be a bit of a change-up. We'll have to see how everyone does load on in. I believe the stopwatches only spawn when the champions themselves do, so still fingers crossed on that one. Want to see all of the 6 strats coming on out. And now maybe we need to turn our attention a little bit towards the jungle, because we've been talking about, oh, wait a second. That looks like it's going to be 7 stopwatches, so not quite the dream of 10 stopwatches, but it's going to be getting pretty close.
Thank God for that we do not have to worry about the 10 stopwatches. Could have been a little bit more upset about that. But now, look at this. Victoria, they're looking to see if they can make a pick. They grouped together before when they had Thresh, but this time around, they don't really have anyone that's going to be able to hard lock someone.
That is true. I mean, you have the Sejuani with at least one other melee champion, plus the root coming down from Ski, so if they can land something, they could find someone. Flash already out.
Very nicely done. They got the slow coming in from Hamster, and it was enough to scare Sweet Jesus so that he didn't want to be taking the L that early on into the game. But now with that, I want to see what kind of vision control Victoria are going to be able to get. They did a really good job of that in Game 1 early into the game. The only problem was they did not maintain that as it got later and later into it.
Also, something I've noticed, last time we saw Janna, it was in the hands of Sweet Jesus, and it went with the coin and plus Emax. This time, though, Hamster, he started the W, he started with the Spell Thieves, and he might just be looking to go for a W Max Janna, which hits so hard in lane if you can get that rolling.
Yeah, he also has 10 gold over his opponent because of that proc.
Troll Ward.
Interesting.
Who was that?
That was from Shutdown Hotai. He put that in because yeah, interesting. That was already spotted out, and then I got outplayed, getting free gold. So look at that. That's a total of 30 gold that went over right away to the side of Victoria. GG, well played, right
Easy.
there.
Yeah, go next.
Exactly, got it. What is it? The surrender at 15 now?
Yeah, just 14 minutes left in this game. But even stopwatches might be keeping this game going just a little bit quicker than that.
Exactly.
But even
especially with how these games are.
Even so, I'm not sure how I feel about the control word start. I think it would have worked out pretty well if it wasn't fooled by those meddling kids, by the meddling Riven, and just a little bit more gold in his pocket. It's never going to be a bad thing. But here's what I'm looking at when I see Riven. You have a melee champion up into the Ornn. And at least with the Maokai, you had the sustain factor that got you through that laning phase. That even helped turn the tides a little bit. But this time outplayed, it's going to be a lot rougher.
Ooh, flash coming in from Hamster, who's hard engaged by Sweet Jesus, trying to get the root onto the Janna, knowing that she's going to have the most limited mobility. It's pretty nice. They get the early flash, and there's that open opportunity for I'm way too punny to look for an early gank.
And they need to be playing around all this on the bot side. If you get a lead down there, that's definitely going to free up a lot of pressure from the other sides of the map. But look at the damage coming out, and that's only level 2.
Exactly, so you got to be a little bit more wary as Damasta and Ski fight in the mid lane as well. A lot of damage being traded back and forth from these teams, but all in all, it seems like it's benefiting the side of MRU a little bit more. So getting a little bit more control across the map in both mid and bot like they did, well, not unlike they did in Game 1.
Exactly, Hamster, he's not on that super aggressive pick in the early game. Ski's going to be going pretty hard in that mid lane.
He wants to go pretty hard to try to see if he can get a lot more damage as I got outplayed. Fighting in the minion wave, not necessarily the smartest idea, especially against this Ornn, who's going to be able to get the shields from the Bella's Breath.
Without a doubt, and check out that early vision coming out from Clanky once again. This is what we saw in game number 1. They like to establish this early vision game, but they traditionally haven't really been able to get anything done with it. This time, though, Ski, on the LeBlanc this early on into the game, he could look for a level 4 roam. If he gets this lane pushing, if he makes Damasta back, there is no reason he cannot go to bot lane, he can't go to top lane, and make one of these plays happen, especially now that they've established the vision control for now.
I got outplayed, went for the back, gets himself a Dorn's Blade, as well as trading in that Ignite for the TP, so not going to have the easiest kill potential anymore, but still, going to be a lot of advantage that he's been picked up just by that one back.
Oh, look at how brutal that mid lane is. Going in once again into Masta, once again gets chunked out. He will be forced to back. Question now, does Ski look for a roam opportunity? He has a teleport to get back in the lane, or does he just go for the back and make a play later on in this match? Personally, with how things are going around the lane, I think it's going to be the latter, but I would be very happy to see a play nonetheless. And Hamster, check out this jungle support duo.
Look at that. They're going to go look for that deep invade. Especially now that they know they got Damasta to back in mid lane, they have ample opportunity. They're not going to have to worry about being ganked by the mid laner just yet. So, a lot of deep vision, again, placed by Clanky, trying to maintain control of the map. Already having the tracker's knife while I'm as well. Ooh, this could be bad. Really good by Hamster to spot that out. Got the tornado onto Zach as well, so he's going to be able to back off.
Yeah, that could have ended very, very badly if there were 1 or 2 more members up there alongside. Trying to knock out Peanut as well, but gonna get away nonetheless. Unfortunately, Hamster, you are not playing Thresh anymore. You are not quite that high in priority. And now look at the ADC matchup. It is completely flipped on a dime with Ezreal and the Karma coming out on top so far.
Yeah, that's that heavy poke that comes out from both of them. If they're able to continue to land each skill shot, it's going to be devastating for Hamster and Italian One. Especially when Hamster leaves the lane, leaves Italian One by himself to try to duel with these two.
Yeah, exactly. He loves that roaming style. Unfortunately, I mean, Janna moves pretty fast, but I don't know if she's the best at ganking support in the game right now. All-Star was still available. They opted for something just a little bit more on the defensive front, but now here's where you got to start watching out for, because Hamster, if he gets a few more levels, he could deal some serious damage.
Yeah, going for the Dark Seal as his second item when he went for his back. That's something that I don't usually get to say too often, is that Janna went Dark Seal.
I mean, there are really two sides to this coin. If he really starts popping off and gets kills, it's going to help him directly. But otherwise, it's also a bit of a defensive pick as well. If he's going to be playing the supporty style, going to be hanging back, positioning quite well, not only will he get stacks from it, but it also helps out his refillable potions in the lane. And when you get poked down by the Karma, by the Ezreal, more sustain is never a bad thing.
So something I always forget about is that the Dark Seal gives you that extra healing. That's why we used to see the build with Singed, where he would go for that. The Corrupting Pot with
Ooh, here could be a fight. Mid lane has priority.
Does, but it seems like I'm way too punny. He's going to be able to get himself out of there. Not too much of a threat just yet, especially since Ornn was going to be able to make the rotation himself. So it could have been a little bit more that Victoria would have got them caught into a sticky situation that they wouldn't be getting out of anytime soon.
No, definitely not outplayed. Looking like he's baiting just a little bit. Wants SmackDown to come on there so he can lay the SmackDown down. But in the end, not too much crazy going on here. As once again, Victoria, they're starting to wrestle away this vision control from nearly all parts of the map.
I love seeing that coming out of these teams. This is where it's so crucial in these high competitive scenarios. You can't just be looking for the random picks. You need to make sure that you are being proactive with them. You're not just getting lucky. So much vision coming out of Clanky, though. Looking at I'm Way Too Punny, he's doing the same towards the top side of the map, so they're going to know that Clanky is towards the bot, especially now that he's just gone for his back.
Yeah, without a doubt, and even so, this game is still kind of hanging around. No big jungler ganks coming out just yet, which is forgivable given that we are still only at that 7-minute mark. Closing in on the 8, and yeah, we are probably going to be in for yet another scale fest. Big points, though, have to be this top lane. This top lane's still looking for something going on. But here comes the ult.
Gotta be really careful. Call of the Forge coming in, and that is the Broken Blades as well, as he wants to see if he can turn this around, even using the slash, but not going to be enough to do any damage to Ornn.
Yeah, almost certainly so far. But that big point was the Ornn popped the ultimate. I felt that was just so early because when that Riven has the ultimate, you need to be extremely confident if you're going to go in and try to actually knock down a kill. But unfortunately, nothing comes out of that just yet. And honestly, I still give the advantage over to Outplayed as long as there's not a Zac gank. But also, look at that topside vision. There is absolutely nothing for Red.
Exactly. So you got to be careful. Got Outplayed and seems to have understood that. He's going to go for the back. I'm really sad that we didn't see an early gank coming in from I'm Way Too Punny on to Riven, especially when you go for the Unsealed Spellbook Ignite Ornn. It really indicated that that was the play they wanted to go for, yet they never actually even tried.
Yeah, without a doubt, but here comes Clanky. There is no mid laner available. Ski, he is not around.
Yeah, and I'm Way Too Punny had to smite that, didn't want to lose that over to Clanky, so sad for them that they're not going to be able to have Demaster with blue buff. But it seems like it's all in all fair because Ski didn't get it himself.
Yeah, that is a big point there, though a little bit more priority on the top side of the map, and still, the junglers just have not really found their niche in this game. Honestly, I still can't even remember one single gank that has realistically gone over to either side.
No, and a lot of that can be attributed to this vision game. Look at how many wards have been placed down by both teams. Trying to maintain that control. They understand how both teams like to play. Now, a little bit of that is in getting these picks, so if you're not able to get them early on, you're going to have to wait to scale into these team fights. Outplayed. Got to be a little bit more careful when he duels into SmackDown Hotai.
Oh, but he's sending back to the top lane, and there is no vision to catch out Clanky this time. He might just get in there for free.
Yeah, man. The Master taking really big chunk of damage in mid as the flash comes in from SmackDown Hotai, staying away from Clanky, who did not use the Glacial Prison.
The classic Ginkaroo. You might be looking to come back on this one, and honestly, having a Riven plus the Sejuani is such a devastating duo. It's almost like the Camille, because all of the melee auto attacks coming out of Riven will count for the passive for Clanky, but Clanky might be getting just a little bit too impatient as SmackDown, he knows something's up.
Yeah, look at the ward line that actually was there for Ornn to keep him relatively safe. He knew that Sejuani never backed off. He would have spotted him out had that been the case, so he's staying very cautious. And now it's been quite some time. He's thinking, if you're still here, you've wasted a whole hell of a lot of time.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, Ski. They're going to play on the bottom side of the map, but probably isn't going to come away with anything. All summoners are still there on the side for the side of the rest of this RMU squad. And maybe not too much going over. Engage on top side.
Nice.
Oh, here's Clanky.
I got outplayed, but Clanky, like we said, still in the area. They use the Glacial Prison, trying to lock it down as the Swing Slash helps to pick up the first blood for Riven.
Holy first blood going up on the top lane. I got outplayed. Might be looking to make it big on Bunny Riven. I'm not sure that I'm Way Too Punny is going to really be able to do anything about that. Ski's still looking to find the mid.
And Demacia getting chunked up pretty low. He's got to be careful because Ski's relatively healthy, having gone for the Hextech Revolver to make it so he does a little bit more damage whenever he auto-tags into the face of this Azir. It only takes one misstep from Damasta to give over a free solo kill to LeBlanc.
That is true, and in this game, it's all about those big budget players really popping off. And if one of those goes behind, that could really hurt that other side. Because, I mean, I got outplayed. He might be a great Riven, but I'm still not super sure about the 1v5 potential in this match.
See a lot of zone control from Sweet Jesus, trying to make it so that it's really difficult for Hamster and Italian One to step up. If they keep landing these skill shots onto Hamster, it's going to make him have to forcibly use the Monsoon to keep himself alive.
Ooh, a lot of chunk damage going out there on the bottom part of the map. Hamster got pretty low, and he's got no more pods back in the pocket. But maybe already a roam coming on down towards the bottom side. Both top laners have the TPs available, but good control warding might at least catch out Ski. But that might be a different story for Clanky.
Exactly, Clanky got there pretty scot-free, but that is a very wise maneuver coming in from Mount Royal as they back off, fearing that there's a potential for Ski to still go down there if they want. They even put a ping onto Sejuani. And SmackDown takes a lot of damage in the top side of the map, so not going to be able to go for too much more.
And here's the control of the vision game I was talking about before, because before they made that play on the mid lane, they didn't send Hamster or Peanut, they didn't send Clanky to go check to see if there are any wards over there. Your top lane's still holding priority, maybe you can draw Zac over to really make that a safe play, but it's that preparation factor that is currently just a little bit lacking for Victoria.
Forced use of the Call of the Forge God just to clear out the minion. I got outplayed, doing a great job at forcing this Ornn to stay under his tower and forcing out these key ultimates to make it so that it's going to be less likely that he's going to get engaged by I'm Way Too Punny later on.
I mean, Black Cleaver already completed. He's in a pretty good spot, and imagine once you get that second item as well. That turns into an absolute terror in the top lane. And especially, think if they now make this play, they have a good amount of warding on the bottom part of the map. TP got outplayed down towards that bottom side. All of a sudden, you can have an absolutely devastating 4 to 5 man gank. Start to knock down these towers, because we are starting to get to that point where Victoria wants to make something happen. We need some sort of roam coming out of Ski that's going to have an impact. But so far, Victoria are going to get away with just a little bit of bottling damage.
They're doing a great job in that vision control still. Last time around, they kind of fell off a little bit at this point, but they're maintaining that. And it might help them to take down this tower even earlier into the game. Give them that first brick gold that they desperately would love. And Damasta goes for the full engage onto Ski. Has a lot of damage, but you gotta be careful because I'm Way Too Punny is here. They have the Let's Bounce to knock him back under the tower. And Way Too Punny does pick up the kill onto Sky.
Yeah, more fight in top lane. That's an ult.
That's not just an ult, that's a wind slash, almost taking out the life of SmackDown Hotel as he's trying to go for the engage. I got outplayed on the chase. He even has Clanky in tow, but if I'm Way Too Punny gets there in time, it's gonna make it a little bit more difficult. This Riven is taken pretty low, so you gotta be careful that you're not taken out by the Zac. There's still the Cell Division available as they use the Glacial Prison to smack him down. He has the tower behind him, but he's going to be able to
TP!
Oh no, the TP was not used to Zac! So
oh
no! Ooh, feels bad moment right there for poor I'm Way Too Punny as he's going to lose his life, giving a second kill over to I Got Outplayed. And now the first brick gold pick up by Victoria. Everything seems to be falling into place for the team.
Yeah, that was just a huge misexecution there. There is no reason why you do not just put the TP down onto Cell Division. It guarantees that I'm Way Too Punny at least gets a chance at life. Maybe even bring over Damasta too. But no, they're just going to start bleeding out of nearly every single orifice. 24 to 21k gold, about that 2.5k gold lead. Currently going for Victoria. It's a start, but they still need to find some way to accelerate this game even further. First dragon of the game, unlike last time, it's only going to be the Windrake, so not going to get picked up just yet. But with the strong side, they're definitely prioritizing this Herald. And look at where SmackDown is standing. They could collapse on him pretty easily.
Good, but he's going to be able to get to his tower pretty well and safe. They have some decent ward coverage around the Rift Herald. They're going to give that over without any contest towards Clanky. It's going to be the second game in a row. We see Victoria taking the Rift Herald with an earlier lead and 2 kills on a snowball champion such as Riven. Everything seems to be falling so well for Victoria.
Oh yeah, they are in a very comfortable spot so far. A little bit of trading going back and forth on that top side of the map. But I want to see a little bit of acceleration here. I want to see another gank on the top side to get outplayed to that 2-item mark. But they might just be comfortable starting to slide right on in towards this split pushing point. Especially once he's able to pick up the Hextech Gunblade. Going to be able to heal up on all of the pushing he does. And that point, LeBlanc is a very hard split pusher to actually stop.
Completely agree with you on that. It's going to be a pretty much the 1-3-1 composition coming in from Victoria. That's going to be very difficult to combat if you're over at Mount Royal. You got to do something quickly because you're losing a lot of CS in top lane and a lot of CS in mid. The only lane that seems to be getting a little bit ahead is your Ezreal Karma lane. But as the game progresses, Italian One's going to do a great job at taking down these towers and being a complete wrecking ball.
Exactly. Now, this is a good adaptation from last game as well. Victoria, they're setting up the vision once more. Around the bot side, they want to prioritize grabbing this Wind Drake just to put a little bit more in their own pockets. But top side, I get outplayed. He's still only sitting on halfway. I believe that will eventually turn into the Death Dance along with the Black Cleaver to really become a just menace on the top lane river. But Pawnee might just get caught out here. Master Peanut could deny the jump, but already used the Q. It's not going to stop just yet.
Yeah, he's going to take a little bit of damage. Even the Buster Shot came out of Italian One as they looked for that another ult coming in from Victoria as they looked to see if they could get a pick, but way too plenty. Still have the TP. He gets out of there now. Rift Herald pop in the mid lane. A little bit more fighting comes in from SmackDown Hotai, and I got outplayed. Even using the Blade of the Exile to try to see if they can pick it up. Even more.
Oh!
Wow, look at that. Sky finds the flank, gets the pick over on it to I'm way too punny. And continuing this chase, I got outplayed, is going hard into it, and he finally gets the kill, picking up his third over this Ornn. And look at Victoria. They figured out what they needed to do. They got the picks across the map, and they're opening up so quickly into this game, not even 20 minutes in.
Yeah, and just like that, they're looking to snowball, but the pick train might not stop just there. As that's still pushing mid lane with 3 very fed members, especially Ski. Could basically just look at somebody and get a kill.
Exactly, and that's what they want to do. They want to see if they can get the pick on to Froster. Flashes out of there, getting a little bit of distance between him and Sky, who has the distortion back to his original spot. The Masto, he senses blood in the water, and he wants to get it, but they ignite. Coming down onto this Ezreal. He's taking a lot of damage as the Monsoon pushes him back. Are they going to be able to get the Bola? Finally, the stopwatch to keep him alive, but it's a little bit too late, because I got outplayed. Finally shows up into the fight. Fail Flash from Clanky, but not a fail Flash coming in from Italian One. She secures himself another kill. The rest of MRU are getting picked off one by one. Nowhere they can go, as Italian One says, I need some more gold. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, and this is the issue coming out of the competition currently drafted by the side of Royal. They just don't have any early game priority. Sure, they got the Ezreal in the Karma on bottom side, which will win the lane, but Ezreal is still feeling the effects of those nerfs. His Q scaled down massively in the early game and still needs to hit this 2 to 3 item spike, especially also with Klepto getting pretty hard nerfs in that pre-15 minute phase. With top lane still losing out with the counter matchup, mid lane losing out with the counter matchup, and bot lane not really to do anything around the map, they need to very roughly play this defensive style, and Way Too Punny just hasn't been there to really follow up on that. Just like that, it's a 4-0 tower lead, 2-7 kill lead, 3.3 to 27 gold lead, and yeah, 6k. That is a rough mark to be down just at the 20-minute mark.
Exactly, and this is where you kind of say over for Mount Royal. Just hold on for the late game, but honestly, at this point, it seems that things are snowballing a little bit too far out of the control. You don't want to ever see a Riven going 3-0-2, almost on the makings of her next item. She's sitting on 2,000 gold right now, so once she has the 2-item power spike, it's going to be even more devastating in these team fights.
Well, exactly, and Death Dance just got completed.
There it is.
Got outplayed. I'm pretty sure he can fight nearly every single person on this map right now, even his own team.
Exactly. So it's really a scary proposition if you're over at Mount Royal. Gotta figure out what you want to do, though. You need an excellent team fight. They have a lot of opportunities to go for that, but it almost feels like it's the reverse of what we saw last game. Victoria needed to rely on a nice pick, and it seems like they have to rely on a nice pick. Otherwise, they're going to find themselves in a tricky situation. Even Froster was, wow, somehow able to outduel Ski on that one.
Yeah, that is not what you want to happen. You need the LeBlanc to be that very strong split-pushing threat. But looks like she hasn't backed in quite a while and really just disrespected the pressure. Here could come a potential fight, and right now there's no outplay just yet.
Not at all, and this is devastating for Victoria, who had such a lead, because they just had 2 members get picked out of there. This is what I was just talking about. You need some picks for MRU if you want to come back into this game, and it seems that they were listening because they just got them.
The name of the game right now for MRU is buy time. Let your team scale up, because sure, they might not have the Exodia of Nunu along with the Azir, but Azir plus Ezreal are still a massively positive team fighting composition. You have 2 good tanks to back them up and a support who can really facilitate them during these fights. They will win the late game at some point in time. The question just has to be when.
It has to be when and if they get to that late game as well. There's still a lot of tools in the belt for Victoria. They have that Riven who was continually split pushing, getting a little bit more gold, continuing to farm up over SmackDown Hotai. That's going to be all they need to do for the moment, is try to hold on, see if Riven can outduel someone, because she honestly can take down any member who tries to go her way. So we see Damasta in the bot lane, maybe seeing if he can duel her.
You have to be really careful, though, because still, there are these advantages on the board for Victoria. 6k in the pocket is still nothing to laugh at. And 2 items completed for Italian one. So they're starting to come together, but still, the main pressure relies around wherever Ski is and wherever Outplayed is. Because if one of those 2 are not with the team, they're not really going to be able to do too much. No teleport available for SmackDown right now, and the play that really should be coming out for the side of Victoria is make something happen with this Baron. Either start it up, use the teleport pressure from I Got Outplayed to make this Baron go in your favor, or alternatively, set up a TP flank. That is the #1 way to knock down a squad. A 3-2 Riven running out from behind your main carries is not going to be very well received.
You can definitely tell that Victoria understand that as well. They're trying to make sure that they can position the vision around the Baron so they can set something up. They even tried to go for the Death Bush in that Pixel Brush right there. But unfortunately, it was spotted out a little bit too early by MRU, who are being very cautious. They do not want to get caught up. They understand, but it seems that that's going to be the Ezreal taken down so quickly. One step too far, and just like that, Victoria understand that they have just won, and they should be able to get the Baron.
Yeah, that was a massive pick. You need something like that to help you get that one out. And honestly, when you're a little bit curious of, oh shoot, is that Baron going over? Use Foster's ultimate to go check that and shove out the mid wave. It is 10 times better to enter that Baron buff going through the river bush than going through one of those side lanes. Because if you're going through the river bush, you got a lot more room to dodge out of the way. But if you're standing right there, Clanky has absolutely 0 difficulty throwing that ultimate down. Hamster and Peanut landed the knockup, and everything just went on their favor. Just like that, they're not only be able to get the Baron buff, they might get the ball lane too. SmackDown, he's got to run.
SmackDown, I don't think you're going to be able to run too quickly today. Even look at Clanky's
little legs.
He's going to be able to cut him off. This poor Ornn bounced around for so long, only to give a killing spree to the Italian one. Possibly going to be the Cloud Drake that's picked up by Victoria as well. And with the Baron on every member of the team, they can easily continue the snowball to go and end the game this early into the game, because they have been destroying MRU so far.
They've got quite a bit of advantage, but here comes the next trial. Can they actually keep this split push game up? Because when you look at that competition, they've got a very nice 1-3-1, but they might just look to 5-man this bot lane.
You gotta be careful, because look,
here comes Zach.
I'm way too punny, wants to see if he can get a nice jump in with the Let's Bounce. He grabs onto only the Riven, but if they get the shutdown onto her, it could be really nice. Exhaust into the root, but the Monsoon to give her the health back as she tries to go back in with the Blade of the Exile as they pick up Foster. He couldn't really do too much. Too much burst potential coming in from Victoria, as they're going to be able to take down this tower and continue the press.
They might just want to run this one completely down the bottom lane. Outplayed is really low. Way too punny. He does not have the ultimate to actually reallocate someone in these fights. Plus the Janna and the Sejuani, they're going to make sure that none of their backliners get knocked around too hard. Ski's pretty low on mana though, so they have to be careful.
This is also what I was talking about with the side of Victoria. Once they get a little bit of a lead, they can continue to exploit everything. They got one inhibitor in bot, they got one inhibitor in mid now, and they might even rotate to get a little bit more if they want to continue to put the vision and control this map. Ooh, flash forced out of Hamster.
Yeah, you got to be extremely careful on that one, because yeah, we've been saying all these fights go back and forth by one member, and not having the Janna one of those fights means that Outplayed might die. It might mean that Ski's going to go down, or Italian one might not have enough in the back pocket to really carry through one of these fights. But now, even more items just compounding on top of each other. Triple crit completed now onto Italian one. Ski has the Morello-Namicon on top of the Hextide Blade, and potentially the most disgusting one of all, top lane. You have the Guardian Angel on top of I Got Outplayed. He is ready to just 1v5 this entire match.
Exactly, and that's going to make it essentially a 6v5 once it comes into the next team fight. But more importantly than that, it's the 10,000 gold lead that has been picked up by Victoria. They're really continuing to put this pressure on, and this is only 26 minutes into the game. They've taken down 2 inhibitor towers, and all they need to do is reset the map, buy these items like you had mentioned, and they should be able to win the next fight, especially with the Executioners calling on the Italian one to cut down the healing of I'm Way Too Punny and onto SmackDown.
Yeah, exactly. No word yet on why exactly we are in this pause, but fingers crossed we will be getting right back to this one. Because the last time I saw pause, I then saw a team completely disconnect. Hope that we don't have that sort of issue, and hopefully it's just like someone dropped some water on the keyboard or something, and we're able to get that one moving right underway. But yeah, as you were saying, big item spikes, ones that we didn't even hit on. Clanky finished up that the Mormog's armor plus the Rocket of the Ancillary. That is the one I'm looking for. But yeah, even their tanks, even their support, they're getting to this big team fighting phase. And if you start a fight right now, I see very little way that MRU actually will come out on top.
We're getting back into the game. Pause has already ended. Pretty happy to see that. Never want to see a pause drag on for too long. The MRU, they're finding themselves on the back burner. They got to do something quick. They got to make a nice pick. So everything's going to fall apart, and we are destined for a Game 3 if Victoria can keep up this pace.
Yeah, most certainly. They are completely the masters of their own destiny right now, and it would be a very hard throw for them to actually lose this one. The only way I could really see that happening is getting to that 40, getting to that 15-minute point, and winning a team fight from there. But yeah, as I was saying, this is going to start really being a trial on how well Victoria can play the map game.
Ooh, great use of that Monsoon coming in from Hamster to keep himself barely holding on to his life. As SmackDown thought he had the pick, that we saw the call of the Forge God coming in, but it wasn't able to connect onto anybody. And because of that, the pressure still being mounted by Victoria, as they have 2 members looking to take out these inhibitors. And looking at outplayed in the bot lane. It's going to be a little bit devastating if they lose both of these simultaneously. They got to do something quick.
Yeah, and this is the 1-3-1 split push. Ski's getting it locked down just a little bit. He is going to be pretty tricksy. He can get out of there, that one, for sure.
And because of that, this is that 1-3-1 setup, except it's more of a 3-1-1 at the moment. Because top lane, we see that last outer tower that was remaining for MRU going down, only holding on to the inhibitor tower, as the inhibitors in both mid and bot were taken out.
And yeah, losing 2 inhibitors just like that is such a massive swing. Outplayed, he wants the kill.
Yeah, I think he might be able to get this, honestly, even in between the 2 Nexus towers. Outplayed is so far ahead, and the teleport coming in from Ski's only gonna mean that they can look for more as the flash from Foster, trying to see if he can use the heal to keep himself alive. There's still the Guardian's Angel for I got outplayed. He's able to escape this for now. It could be enough, so he can try to see if he can outduel them once again, because Ski finally showing up, doing a lot of damage, and even bursting down, sweet Jesus. Look at that, outplayed, he survives. This is going to be the final inhibitor taken down for MRU as Victoria, they want to see if they can end this game. The last-ditch effort coming in from I'm Way Too Funny, only grabbing in the Riven. But it's not going to be enough, he has to flash away. Ski jumps forward, inhibitor taken down. Double super minions are going to be pouring into the base of MRU, but it doesn't look like Victoria want to let that happen anytime soon.
You know, this is going to be such an insanely hard hold coming up, but Victoria, they're getting engaged on. Oh, the whiff!
Oh, the nerves might be coming out a little bit too much for SmackDown Hotai as he missed the call of the Forge God. Had he landed that, that could have been a nice turnaround, but sadly, just a little bit too late on the trigger. It means that all these members from Victoria will be able to escape scot-free unless they want to keep escorting in these minions.
Outplayed currently sitting in the base, has the teleport available, might use it on some of these minions once they hit this tower. Yeah, here it comes on in.
Exactly, they're going to look to see if they can end it. Demaster falls forward as he tries to see if they can shove back in the Riven, but it wasn't enough. He couldn't connect onto any members, and it doesn't even seem like Victoria cared too much. Though they don't have the Guardian's Angel anymore on Outplayed, it's still enough for them to be afraid of him. All lanes pushing in these super minions could be devastating for MRU losing this one as they're holding on for dear life.
They're doing an alright job. They're making sure none of these waves hit simultaneously, but now with top and mid lane hitting, they are put into a rough position. Top tower probably going to go down here.
Yeah, the redemption keeps them pretty healthy, but you are right. Look at how low that Nexus tower is.
Oh, all 3 waves.
Hopefully, they're just praying that these inhibitors come up soon. They're counting the clock as we see the bot lane might be the first one to revive. And still, they held on. They put the defenses in, and MRU are going to survive for a little bit longer.
Yeah, but how much longer? 30 seconds left on the drag, but here's the big one. 45 seconds left on this Baron. There is absolutely no way outside of a god tier steal coming out from I'm way too punny here that could really even put the game back into MRU's favor. And honestly, this is just a classic case of grab the Baron buff, grab the dragon, and run it down mid.
Exactly. But still, seems that it's going to be a little bit more of a delayed game as just padding the stats for Victoria, making sure that they have every single tool that they need to win the game. They understand that there is still that possibility, even if it's minute and small, that they lose this game. They're being very clean and very methodical about it. So that way, they can get to game 3 and hopefully be able to take this series over MRU.
I mean, technically speaking, the series is still on the line in this match. If MRU come out with a god tier turnaround, they could send the perfect season for Victoria packing. And both teams want to hold on to that as long as they possibly can. Because the best case scenario right now for MRU is that Victoria gets this Baron and then overdives mid lane, giving enough time for a full map run back. Sure, there are about every single tower left on the board for Victoria, but it's still a possibility. And that would be the most heartbreaking, soul-crushing way to lose a game like this.
And now with the Baron on the side of Victoria, they have the tools that are necessary to win the game. They do not have I Got Outplayed. He doesn't have the TP to join in this. So if there's a potential fight coming in from MRU, now is your chance. You need to pick off someone quickly before you have to worry about the Riven.
Yeah, they're looking to go in. But with the Janna!
Nice use of the tornado coming in. The Call of the Forge God going to connect onto Hamster, but he was very well by his team. Didn't have to worry too much as the Zero Tower is going to be forcibly used, and it's going to be taken down so quickly by this Tristana. They don't even need I Got Outplayed as Ski goes in hard onto Sweet Jesus, forcing out the flash. Way too punny. Trying to see if he can get into the backline, but he found nobody. Forced to use the Let's Bounce just to keep himself alive as Ski does so much damage. Master rooted up into the Glacial Prison. Even the cleanse is going to be barely enough to keep him alive, and look who's finally shown up. It's I Got Outplayed as he picked up 2 kills right away, looking for a little bit more, getting the flashes out of everybody. Cell Division finally coming in for Zach, but it's not going to mean too much when he finally loses his life. The Nexus going over to Victoria. Get ready for the Silver Scrapes, guys. We're getting to game 3.
Yeah, and I mean, that was just playing your style of League of Legends. We have seen throughout this tournament and throughout this match in particular that MRU, they are very comfortable with playing this very classical team fight, front to back style. They have the better compositions for it, and they have the better shot calling for it. But what just happened there from Victoria is they threw a wrench right in that plan. They're like, you know what, you can have the team fighting. We're just going to have a Riven. We're just going to have a LeBlanc that's going to rip that completely apart.
Exactly. Who needs to team fight when you get the snowball going for Riven and LeBlanc and you continue to pick off members whenever they step up? Poor Sweet Jesus, he went one misstep a little bit too far forward and Ski instantly deleted him.
Yeah, most certainly. That was just completely rough game coming out right there. And a little bit of rays of life coming also for the side of Victorian. They just need one more win and they keep that perfect season hope alive. And that is ever so important as we reach our midway point of the season.
Exactly. Both teams want to keep their perfect season alive. Even though they no longer have that when it comes to actual games, they still have that for matches. Game 3 about to come down to you guys for CSL. I hope you guys stick with us. I'm ready for these two to fight it out, see what's going to happen in just a little bit.